Hey, what's at Atelier fans? This is Chris Bolson. I'm coming in with an episode review of this week's episode 9 of Nightmare Stained in Black. Now, before I do get into the content, do make sure you like, share, subscribe, turn on the post notifications. All that stuff really helps me out. Now, this particular episode picks right up after the last episode ended. Nonoa just talking with someone right there, but Tarta has noticed something very odd. He notices that Nonoa should have been able to see that flash of light because it was very bright. That flashlight that Kefri had done with the conjuring ink of Coco. But obviously, we know that Nonoa does not remember him anymore. Tarta is very observant, said, hey, either Kefri knows something about it, or maybe Kefri is the reason he actually no longer remembers anything about that flash of light. Now we're going to go over here to the girls. They're out studying with Kefri. He's giving them a lesson about not only the test, but also about differing ways to alter these seals to create different levels of magic. Coco here, who is demonstrating that, points out that she made some slight alterations to some wind magic. Kefri was pretty impressed by that. During this time period, we also get some more lore about the tests in general. The tests that all these girls are going to be doing in order to become fully fledged witches. They're called the Pentecostal of Proving, and there are 5 tests that are part of this Pentecostal of Proving. The first test obviously was the consent of the crowned. We saw Agat force Coco into that particular test. More of that in a minute here. But then there's also another test that's part of it. It's called the sincerity of the shield. That's the second part of the test. The third part of the test is the query of the Kiviv. Maybe am I saying that right? Kiviv, or maybe Kiviv? Kiviv, we'll just say Kiviv. Going back to the second test, the sincerity of the shield is displaying your devotion and walking alongside with your master. The third test is the query of the Kiviv, that's proving your worth and taking up the key. The fourth test is the goodwill of her grace, which is granting a wish to someone and standing alone by yourself. And the last test is words of the wise, where the apprentice becomes the teacher. Anyone that passes the fourth test, they are considered a fully fledged witch. The fifth test, you can actually take on apprentices, and the third test, you can go to the Tower of the Tomes, and that's the goal of Agat and Coco. They both want to get to the Tower of the Tomes. Obviously, Coco, she wants to learn spells to free her mother, and Agat, she wants to get there because she has to prove herself to her family that she is a fully fledged witch that is capable. During this time period, we do learn some things about each of these girls and their own goals. Tetia there, this purple hair girl, Tetia wants to become a witch so that she can prove her philosophy, which is one spell makes 2 people happy. Riche actually does not want to grow up. She does not like being told what to do. She wants to be able to do her own thing, and if she's forced to do something, she would rather not grow up. She'd rather just stay in place. Agat is the complete inverse. She wants to grow up as quickly as possible because, again, she wants to demonstrate her spells so that she can prove to her mother and prove to her lineage that she is a worthy witch. Coco, on the other hand, wants to learn as many spells as she can so that she can save her mother. Coco is having a nightmare. She is being invaded in her dreams by the brimmed caps. See right here, this is one of the brimmed caps that is the one that gave her her pen and ink, tormenting her in her dreams. So she forces herself to stay awake and to draw, which is not a good thing at all for witches or for anyone for that matter. You need your sleep in order to be at your best. Agat is walking in on Kefri. Kefri is getting ready to experiment on the conjuring ink that he got from Coco. He snaps at her, hey, go to bed. You don't need to be up at this late hour. There's no need for you to be studying. Give yourself some rest. He doesn't take his own advice because he's getting ready to dabble into some dark magic right here. But before he actually does that, we get some more lore about this twin bottling spell. And the reason the twin bottling spell exists is back in the day, there's this group called the Righteous Witches of Healing Craft that had stood against the edict of the 3 wise ones, namely forbidding the use of spell on a human body. Obviously, in order to heal somebody, you need to actually put the spell on the body itself. They conjured up this spell called the twin bottling spell, which allowed them to be able to share magic across several distances. so that at any point in time, if someone needed to use a healing spell, they would have access to basically a limitless amount of ink and cast that spell as needed. Now he was trying to get this metal, which goes inside the ink. Well, that's the catalyst for the twin bottling spell. He's trying to get that particular piece of metal out, but then when he does that, it triggers a chain reaction, and you see a lightning spell just erupts. It destroys the conjuring ink. The Atelier gets flooded with water magic, which weakens severely anyone who tampers with the conjuring ink. And then out of nowhere, the brimmed cap that gave the conjuring ink to Coco appears right in front of Kefri and takes the metal so that Kefri is not able to trace it back to him or anyone that's associated with the brimmed caps. That puts an end to that for Kefri. He loses his only lead to the brimmed caps, and it's kind of a boss move. He just appears right in front of him and says, "You're not going to get what you want to get." That leaves Kefri in a weakened state. Remember back earlier, I was talking about the consent of the crown. Agat here comes to Coco, asks Coco, "Hey, why didn't you snitch me out to either Kefri or Oruja? I was the one that put you up to doing the consent of the crown." Coco comes back and says, "You may have sent me out there, but it was my choice to actually do the trial itself. It didn't have anything really to do with you." And at that moment that she says that and gives those shoes back to Agat, Coco faints. She faints from exhaustion, and Agat runs immediately to Kefri. Kefri decides that he needs to take Coco back to Calm to see a doctor. That's where he runs into Tarta. Tarta helps direct him to the hospital, and that's where Kefri tells him that he has the ability to see things that aren't there. But Tarta comes back at him and says, "That reminds me, I need to ask you a question about something." So it circles all the way back to right here when he discovers that his grandfather has forgotten about the flash of light, and maybe that Kefri might know something about it, or he might be the reason. So I like how this thing all circled back to the beginning of the episode. Just tied everything neatly, and also gives a really good cliffhanger for the next show, which was pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and give this episode an 8.5 out of 10. We're finally starting to see a little bit of the tie of Kefri to the brim caps. Getting this all built up and getting us into the next episode is a really cool thing. I really loved it. What did you guys think about this episode? Jump down in the comments and let me know what you guys think. And make sure you like, share, subscribe, turn on the post notifications. All that stuff really does help me out. And remember, this is Chris Bolt signing off, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Take it easy.